हेलो एवरीवन। आई एम ऑडिबल। आप लोगों को मेरी आवाज़ सुनाई दे रही है? हेलो, आई एम ऑडिबल। So we will keep English as the main language for demonstration. अगर आपको if anyone has a query question in Hindi, feel free to put it in the chat window also. So guys, today's session is all about how we can create a servers on the AWS cloud. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share my screen. Just a minute. So guys, I'm sharing my screen now, and you can see that I'm just logging into the AWS console. Um, the first thing is that what we need to do, we have to search for AWS console and look for the graphical user interface. So here you can see this is the AWS management console, and if you require your personal mail IDs, like you can use your Gmail IDs as well, and along with that, you would need a credit or a debit card details as well, because AWS authenticates your identity before getting your account created. So that is must, but don't worry, it is not going to ask you for any kind of charges. It is just for the authentication purpose that is needed. I already have an account created on this particular cloud. It's very easy, just 3-4 steps you need to follow, and you should be able to get your account created very quickly. And that gets live within 24 hours as well. All right. So now I have an account already created. So we just need to click on sign into the console. And I believe I am audible for everyone, right? Okay. So we just need, if you're the owner of an account, you just need to sign in as a root account holder. And here, uh, you just need to provide your mail ID, and then you just need to provide the password. Afterwards, it is asking you for the authentication, which is an app that I have already installed on my mobile phone. So that gets a code generated. Oops, it says the password incorrect. And let's wait for the code. Yes. So now we are logged in into the console, and this is going to be the primary place where we are going to work on our AWS account. All right. So today's session is, and this is a session specifically designed for those who are completely new on this cloud, those who wants to learn skills on the Amazon Web Services. As you already know, that cloud computing is widely used by so many companies, and any technology that you can think of, whether it is AI, whether it is creating a new servers, whether it is creating a database, storage, everywhere the cloud is used. So if I have to develop an AI model also, I would prefer to use AWS, because AWS provides me high-end servers, which we cannot purchase or afford it from the market. And we get it from the cloud very easily. And we have to pay for only the duration that we are going to use these servers. So today I'm going to tell you how we can launch a virtual server on this particular cloud, how we can access it, and I'll also tell you about how we can work on the storage on this particular cloud as well. So AWS is Amazon Web Services platform, primarily owned by Amazon.com, which is an e-commerce platform. And you already know that it is one of the world's largest e-commerce platform. So they developed a cloud, and named it as Amazon Web Services. Initially, somewhere in the year 2002 and 2003, they started up with one single service. And now, by the year 2026, they are having around 200 plus services, one of the largest cloud provider across the globe. And it can run any technology that you can think of. So when you log in into the Amazon Web Services, the first thing that you need to do is you have to select a location or a region where you're going to work or get your servers created. So here you can see on my screen that at the top right end, I have selected a Mumbai region because as I am located in India, so nearby location would be Mumbai. Though it is not necessary that you have to select only Mumbai region. You can select any of the regions. Like you work on US also. You can work in Canada regions as well. And again, it depends on your projects. Um, if you are going to host some kind of a website or an application, where exactly the traffic is going to come from. So all these things you have to basically decide based on requirements or the traffic that is going to come to your applications. So I have decided for Mumbai region, though from a pricing perspective, US regions are the most cheapest ones. Mumbai is also not that expensive. And from the network level, since Mumbai is located nearby my location, so it will be very easy and quicker to work on the servers created on the AWS environment. Now, how to launch your first server? How to launch your first virtual machine or a virtual server on the AWS cloud? You have to search for a service which is called as EC2, the Elastic Cloud Compute Service. And where you can get it, you have to either if you are using it on a dashboard and you can view it, you can just click on the EC2 directly. Otherwise, you just need to search for EC2 here. EC2 stands for Elastic Cloud Compute, which is one of the most widely used service of the AWS cloud. Almost everyone who works on the Amazon Web Services uses EC2 as their service for launching a virtual machine or a virtual server. So you just have to click on the EC2, the virtual machine, and here we have to launch an instance. Instances are called as the virtual machines only or the virtual servers only. Here you can see that the instance running, that is 0. That means there is no actual or live virtual server that is running in this environment. So we just have to click on the instances here, and we are going to create a new, or we are going to launch a new virtual machine, a new instance. I'll just do that quickly. I'll just fill up the form and show you how we can quickly launch a virtual server. And then we will see that how we can connect to it. So primarily, I would be using a Linux-based operating system, which will be used for connecting to the virtual machine. Let's wait for the page to appear. Anyone having any queries, questions, feel free to ask. You can put your queries on the chat window as well. And whether it is a relevant question, irrelevant question, that doesn't matter. The participation is the one thing that is expected. So you can ask your queries. Feel free to reach out. Relevant queries or any other queries related to the cloud, just put it in the chat window. So it's taking a bit time. Yeah. So now the page is opened and you can see this orange tab, right? And we just have to fill up a form. That's it. So we just fill up a single form. I'm going to create a web server. And then you have to select an operating system. What operating system that you want AWS should launch on your server? And you have an ample range of operating systems. Whatever you can think, you can get it here. So you can use Amazon Linux, Mac OS, Apple product. You can use any of the Microsoft Windows, Red Hat Linux, Ubuntu, anything, whatever you want, you can select it. I'm going to go with the Amazon Linux as of now. So I have selected an operating system, Amazon Linux, and the type of a server. What type of a server you want to get it created? How much CPU you want? How much RAM you want? What should be the storage? These are the things that comes up in the instance type. So if you see, if you click on the compare instance types, you will see more than 200 plus, not even 200, more than 714 plus servers that you can get it and select. But you don't have to select it because that is going to be very much chargeable for you. So initially, when you are starting up the journey for learning the AWS cloud, you should go with T2.micro because it offers you around 1 CPU and 1 GB RAM, and that is sufficient for doing all kind of practice work. And later on, when you plan to launch something in productions or if you work in the organizations, you can scroll and search for a bigger generation servers as well. So you have A series servers, C series servers. So here you can see C48X large that offers you 36 CPUs and 60 GB RAM. That's a very big server. And in case if you plan to launch something related to animations, if you plan to launch something related to online gaming, or if you're planning to mine the cryptocurrencies, you can go for GPU based servers as well, but that is going to be very expensive. All right, so we just have to look for the pricing before selecting any uh, server on the AWS cloud. The T2.micro type of a servers are free of cost. You can use it as and when needed. They are not going to charge you. And this free of cost service is till 1 year of duration. So let's say if I create an AWS account today, so this server I can use it as free of cost throughout an year, but only one single server. It is not like if I create 10 servers and I would not be charged. That's not true. So I'm going to select only the T2.micro. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. It's the access of computers and the servers which we can connect remotely using these services. What is a prerequisite? We need to have a good internet connection and an account that should be created on the AWS. I hope that answers your query. All right. Now the next thing is once I select T2.micro, for the security purpose, we need to create a key pair. Right now, we'll just proceed without a key pair for a demo purpose. And the network settings here, you can modify the network settings in case if you want to modify your IP address of your server. Otherwise, you can keep it as default. And what the AWS is going to do, it is going to provide a dummy IP or a dynamic IP address to your virtual servers. So you can just keep it as it is. Nothing needs to be changed. And from the storage perspective, storage, this is just a hard disk. So like in your laptops, you have the hard disk attached. And similarly, for your servers also, you have to assign a hard disk. So this is an 8 gigabytes of storage, which is 8 GB of a disk that will be attached to your virtual server. You can scale it also later on if you want. You can increase it till as much capacity as you want. So Amazon Web Services gives you almost an unlimited storage capacity that you can assign it to your servers. All right. So this is a form that we need to fill it, and you can just verify the form. Afterwards, you just need to press a button, launch instance, and here you would see that the cloud, the Amazon Web Services, is going to create a virtual server for you. It has started launching your virtual machine, and it has given you an instance ID as well. And now when you go to the instances, when you go to the instance here, you can see that your web server is being created. It's in a running state. Uh, Amazon is initializing your virtual server, and how it is doing is, in a backend they have data centers, and those data centers are quite big, quite massive. They are spread across the globe at different continents, different locations. And from one of the servers in the data center, we get the access of our virtual machine. All right. So you can see that you don't have to own any physical hardware. You don't have to spend any money. You just need to have a good internet connection, an account on the Amazon Web Services, and you can launch a server of your choice within few minutes. And the good thing is you only pay for the duration that you're going to use that server. So there is no one time cost that you need to pay it. You just have to pay for the time duration that you're going to run this server. So let's say if I run it for 5 hours a day, so accordingly, whatever the billing rates are, we will be charged. And the good thing is that this type of a server, which is a small scale server, doesn't charge us anything. So it is almost going to be free of cost for us. Anyone having any doubts, any questions? Anyone having any queries? Just a minute, guys. So we have couple of participations, specifically from Ma'am Vidushi Bangia. All right, guys. So now, when I refresh this screen, you can see that my server is already in a running state. Everything is done. The checks are passed, and how I need to connect to the server. So server is created, but the main thing that we need to know is how to connect to that server. There are various ways we can connect to the server. You have to select your server and then just click on the connect button, and then again just click on connect. So this is the most easiest way of connecting to the server without any username, without any password, without any key. Why? Because I am connecting to this server directly from the console. I'm already logged in. So authentication, now we cannot connect. Let's try it again. And here you see we have connected to our Linux server. Right. So this is a Linux based operating system. Here you can see I have launched the Amazon Linux. The IP address, which is the private IP address 172.3.1.1.1.81, and the same thing you can match it from here 172.3.1.1.1.81. So that identifies that we have connected to the correct. To install any repository, so I can just run a command, and let's see if it allows us to install any packages from the internet. Guys, it's a Linux operating system, so it is a CLI. We have to put up the commands, and in case if you want, you can add a Windows operating system also, which is more related to graphical user interface as well. So you can see that I have installed the Apache packages on this server, and this way I can easily create and host a simple web application, a website, a server, and a mobile applications. All these things can be now hosted and can be initiated on this particular server. Okay. So in the next session, I will tell you how you can get your websites very easily deployed on the server, and then you can run it on your by yourself and make it live. All right. So this was all about AWS EC2, and if you want to learn in depth about the Amazon Web Services and its other services, so we have a full course that has already been uploaded on our on our YouTube channel. You just need to subscribe it, and then you can go through the entire AWS course, which is of 9.5 hours duration. And also we have our course that is available on Udemy as well. You can view it directly from our website, sunshinelearning.in, and I'll just buy our Udemy course at a very nominal charges. So you just have to go to our website, go to the self-study kit, click on AWS study kits course. That just we are charging around 500 rupees for the entire course. You can buy it from here. I think there is a lag. Yeah. So I'm pasting this link, the Udemy course link, and I am also pasting a referral code, which you guys can add it up and you'll get a discount. The stream is going to be continued, and we will be now understanding about a different service of an AWS, that is the S3, which is a simple storage service. So this was about the EC2 instance, the virtual machine. And guys, what you can do once you are done with your virtual machine, you just need to go to the instance state and stop the instance. Later on, you can start it whenever you require. The instance is deleted, you have to create it. So try to stop it in order to avoid any extra charges. Once you stop it, the billing stops. And then when you start it again, the billing starts up. And once it is terminated and deleted, then it is gone completely. So you have to be very much careful in case if you are using it for a regular activities. The next service that we are going to work on is quite an interesting service, which is called as S3. And S3 stands for the simple storage service. How you can work on the S3 is you just need to search for S3 on the cloud, on the AWS. And here you get a service called scalable storage in the cloud. So click on the S3. Now, what does this service do? Guys, when the AWS was launched, S3 was the first service that was introduced. That was the only service, and that was the first service. You can relate S3 with the Google Drive as well. So you guys must be using Google Drive on a day-to-day basis. You have Digibox, Dropbox, OneDrive. What do you do with those drives? You upload your content, right? Like your PowerPoints, your PDFs, your images, videos, all those things you put it on the Google Drive. And what is the benefit you get? You don't have to carry your hard disk, or you don't have to carry the USBs. If you're traveling, if you are at a different locations, you just need to log in into your Google Drive and you can get your documents. So where exactly the Google Drive runs, that also runs in the backend on the cloud, but primarily on the Google Cloud, not on the AWS. For AWS, they have a service that is called as an S3, which is called as a simple storage service. Almost similar as Google Drive, but bit more advanced than the Google Drive. Why? Because S3 offers you a lot of features. What you can do is you can store any document, any file using the S3, and you can share that content with anyone. You can share that URL with anyone. So some of the popular use cases of an S3, where exactly it is used in a real-time scenarios, and I believe most of you must be watching Netflix, right? So Netflix is an application. You must be watching movies and videos on Amazon Prime, Spotify for hearing the songs, MP3 songs, audios, and all. All of these companies in the backend are using the AWS S3 for storing up their content. So what they do, they use Amazon Web Services. They create or they work on the S3, and inside the S3 they upload their video content and the audio content. So Netflix is primarily using S3. All their latest movies, all their series are uploaded directly on the S3, and then it is linked with their applications. So what we do, we subscribe to Netflix, we click on any of the movie and it gets streamed from the S3 directly. So how we can do that, I'll just show you. The first thing that we need to consider when we work on the S3 is we have to create a bucket. And you can see that I have already created so many buckets. We can have around 100 of buckets created in one single account. All right. So we just create a bucket, put a bucket name of your choice. Let's say I put something like video, audio content. And this has to be a unique name. It's not like you can put any name. And the bucket name should always start with lowercase. You cannot have an uppercase. And don't use any characters. From the naming convention, you can always click on this particular link and you will get an information that how the naming should be done with the buckets. Then from the security perspective, how do you want to give the access of the bucket and its content? Guys, there is a lot of talks on the cloud security. And if I have to uh, take up some drawbacks of a cloud, I would say that security could be a challenge. The reason is because we are working on the cloud using an internet, and that too remotely. So there are vulnerabilities. Things can be hacked, and it has happened previously also. So with respect to that, the AWS has taken a lot of security measures. And what they do, by default, they keep everything in a private mode. And it asks us whether we want to make it publicly accessible or not. And we have to authenticate it. We have to customize it. Okay, so it's our choice. If we want to make our buckets publicly accessible or we want to hide our content, we can take up the charge of the security. But by default, AWS is going to keep everything hidden from the internet. So what I'm going to do, in the object ownership, you can see ACLs disabled. That is recommended. That is a security. I'm going to enable it because we need to have the access publicly available. And then block public access settings for this bucket. By default, it is blocked. I'm going to uncheck that and acknowledge it. Rest of the things we'll keep it as default and then quickly create a bucket. If my bucket name is unique, it will create our bucket. And here you can see that it has created my bucket with the name video audio. Let's search for it. Here we can see video audio content. And you can note, or if you have noticed, this video audio content bucket is created in Asia Pacific, Mumbai. So all our content, all our documents, files will be stored in this particular location. That will be not outside India. Some countries, some companies have a compliance issues that whatever data that you're going to keep it on the cloud, that has to be within the country. It should not go outside. So now when you create a bucket, you have to be very much careful that in which particular location, in which particular region, uh, that you are going to create a bucket, because at that place you are going to store your content, your data. So it has to be in compliant. It has to be as per the company policies, as per the country policies. For example, uh, in UK, there is a law that the entire country's citizens' data cannot be moved outside of their country location. So we need to abide that law. And if we are going to create a bucket, we have to make sure that we select a region in UK only. Otherwise, there will be a compliance issue. So these things we need to be very much careful about. All right. Though it's just a demo practical, so we are not going to put any critical data. So that's absolutely fine. And now the next thing is, once we open up our bucket, we can upload any content, any file from our system onto this bucket. Just couple of things that you need to ensure is that it should not be an exe file, there should not be any viruses and all those things, because in the backend they do all kind of checks. The proper content should be there, ethical content should be uploaded. Those things you have to be careful. What kind of a content that you are going to upload on the cloud, because that is monitored in the backend by the cloud itself. All right. So the next thing is, we are going to click on upload. Anyone having any queries, any questions? All right. And I'm just going to add couple of files. I'll just put up a picture on the S3. Any random picture. Not my, but anything else if I can find. Let's see. A lot of pictures we can find it. Okay. So this is a PNG image. I am uploading it from my laptop onto the S3 bucket, and we'll just click on upload. Okay. Now, after uploading a content, here you can see this PNG image has been uploaded on the S3 bucket. For every file that is uploaded on the S3 bucket, by default, there will be a URL that will be created to access that file. Now, who is going to create that? The cloud is going to do that. We are not going to do that. They are going to do it for us. And similarly, for this image also, there is a URL that is created. We need to find it where it exactly it is. So I'm just going to open up this image, and here you can see the object URL. Now you can share this object URL with anyone, and that person should be able to open up the image. They don't have to log in into AWS, they don't have to browse to the bucket, they don't have to go to S3 and look for the content. Just by clicking on this particular or opening up this URL on the browser, they should be able to view the image. I'll just show you how. First of all, I'm going to make this object publicly accessible. Again, we have to do it manually for the security purpose. And then I'm going to copy the object URL and paste it on the browser. Let's see what we get. So here you can see this image is available. So this image we uploaded on the S3, and we can access this image just by clicking on the URL. Now I can use this URL and map it with my mobile applications, with my websites. And that's what the Netflix does. What they do, they upload the content on the S3 bucket and map these URLs with their applications. We just click on those links and it starts streaming. The video starts streaming. However, they modify a lot of things in the architecture also for the streaming purpose, that it should be faster, it should be smoother. A lot of engineering work is done, but the base, the root is that they use AWS, they use S3, and they map it with their mobile applications or the web applications. So you can see that uh, if you have an idea in your mind and you know the technology, you can set up a company just like Netflix anytime and without any new investments, just with the help of an internet, just by having an account on the AWS and a team of good engineers. So you guys can open up this image. I'm pasting it on the chat window. You just copy this URL, paste it on the browser, and you should be able to see this image as well from your screen. Let me know if anyone is not able to do that. So two things we learned today. One is how we can access the AWS cloud, how we can launch a virtual server, and how we can connect it. The second, how we can work on the storages, specifically one of the service that is called as an S3. There are a lot of other things, and obviously we are short of time, so we have this session for 1 hour today itself. But we are planning, as the audiences grow, we are planning to have a longer sessions later on, based on the response that we'll get it, for sure. And if you want to see, again, I'm reiterating, if you want to see our recorded videos, you have an option on our YouTube channel. Along with that, you can buy our course from the Udemy. The links have been pasted on the chat window. And now we are open for the questions and the queries. Anyone having any questions, any queries? Guys, lot many other things we can do it on the S3. Even I can host a simple static website also. And that will be almost free of cost. And since we are already short of time, so probably in the upcoming sessions, I'll show you those demonstrations. But anyone having any doubts, any questions, we are open for the queries. Feel free to ask your questions, relevant, irrelevant, out of the box questions. Absolutely welcome. And after this stream, we will be publishing this video as well. So you guys, those who have missed, they can view it on Facebook, on YouTube channels as well. And the purpose of this live session was to have an introduction on the Amazon Web Services and just to give you a practical glimpse of how do we work on cloud computing. And you know that there is so much buzz around what exactly this cloud is, what exactly these technologies are, how do we work on it in a real time scenario. It's nothing. It's just that somebody has created their servers and we are accessing it remotely over the internet. We don't own that infrastructure, we don't own those servers, someone else is owning it, and they have created a platform through which we can access them, and they charge us for the usage of those environments. So you can be a cloud provider, I can also be a cloud provider. I just need to create a pool of servers, link it with some kind of an application, and give it an access over the internet, and I will also be considered as a cloud service provider. The only difference between us and the AWS is that Amazon Web Services has a massive infrastructure spread it across the globe in different continents. And I would say that in one of their data centers has millions of servers. So you can imagine that how many data centers they are having. That is means there is a huge number of data centers that they are having across the globe. And one of the simple data center itself is having a millions of servers. So you can imagine that how big and how massive uh, the AWS global infrastructure is, and it is widely and most very much popular among so many organizations. You just think of it, and you would find that that organization would be using Amazon Web Services for their projects. Some of them I have already named: Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify, a lot of mobile applications. One of a very popular app that is being used for language learning, and that is called as Duolingo. That is completely on the cloud using AWS in the backend. Domino's for ordering up the pizzas, Subways application, Zomato completely on cloud, and NASA has a lot of projects running on the cloud, and popular automobiles and any organization that you can think of, they are using AWS, and that is the reason there are so many jobs and requirements for the AWS professionals. And I would advise that you should have those skills added in your CV, and that would give you a very much advantage uh, in your professional industry and in your work, and that would definitely help you to upgrade yourself in your current job roles as well. So if there are no further questions, guys, I would end this live session. And I appreciate that you have taken up some time and joined our live session. I hope you got some kind of a knowledge and understanding. And we will connect again shortly with new ideas and new topics to be covered upon different technologies. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.